Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol, and welcome to my CarVid19 Daily vlog, uploading a new video every day at 6 p.m. to keep you sane during lockdown. Now then, last night while I was tucked up in bed fast asleep, something very special happened for the channel. And luckily it was captured by my good mate Damien from Motorsport and Dream Cars. Oh yes, we ticked over to 60,000 subscribers. Now I have to say a massive thank you to Damien. You need to go and check his channel out. He's one of these small content creators. He does some great stuff. He recently reviewed Ruby Roadster. I'll put a link above. Please go and check his channel out and give him a sub because he really does deserve it. But the question for this video is 60,000 subscribers. Cool. Is that going to earn me any money? Oh. More about the mug later. So 60,000 subscribers. I can remember when I started YouTube how hard I had to work for the first 100 subscribers. And when I got there, I was absolutely over the moon. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that one day I'd be sat here at 60,000 subscribers. And the fact that actually 50,000 ticked over not that long ago is quite frankly mind-blowing. But the question I get asked so much, and I know quite a few of my other YouTuber mates get asked it all the time as well, is does that earn you any money? 60,000 subscribers? Could you be a YouTuber full time? Well, at the moment I'm kind of having to be, but what I wanted to do in this video was to try and be as open and honest as possible and talk a little bit about how I earn money from YouTube, how much I earn, and what the important things are, maybe the less important things are, and the really frustrating things. So let's start with how I earn money, or any YouTuber for that matter earns money from YouTube. And the first thing is, it's nothing to do with how many subscribers you've got. The fact I've got 60,000 subscribers won't earn me any more money than if I had 50,000 subscribers or if I had 2 million subscribers. It's not a metric that generates revenue for you. The only thing that generates revenue for you from a YouTube point of view is views. Video views. How many views does your video get? If you think YouTube is owned by Google, and Google have a program called AdSense. So basically, if you are a brand and you want to do an online marketing campaign, you go to Google, you can have a little video advert. You say, right, Google, can you place this advert in front of people who it will be interesting to? And Google look at all of their complex algorithms and they'll agree what's called a PPM rate, a pence per mil. It's basically a cost for every 1,000 times that advert is placed in front of somebody. And then Google will then place that advert for a period of time and up to a certain budget depending on what the brand wanted. So when you watch one of my videos, at the beginning you might see a video, an advert. In the middle sometimes you might see an advert. Each time you see one of those, a brand is paying Google to place that advert in front of my video. Much like a commercial TV station like ITV, you'd have an ad break. It works exactly the same. And then Google take the money from the brand, and then Google and the content creator, that's me, have a revenue sharing agreement. And at the end of each month, based on how many views and how much money they got for those, I get sent a check by Google. Simple, right? I wish, I really do wish it was that simple, because it's not that simple. Because the amount of money a brand will pay depends on who is watching the video and where they live and what their income stream is like and what their purchasing history is like and how much money they've got. It's a very, very complex thing. It's not as simple as if you get a video that does 1,000 views, this is how much money you generate, because it just doesn't work that way. So for example, I might get a video that does 10,000 views in the UK and a different video that does 10,000 views in the US. I'm not going to generate the same revenue from each of those videos. The way it works, interestingly, I'll probably generate more money from the video that does well in the States than the one that does well in the UK, because generally Google will generate more money from brands that advertise in the US. So it gets really complicated. So actually the metric that's the most important in terms of how much money you make from YouTube is how many views you get each month. Now, I've seen a huge increase in the number of subscribers on my channel over the last last couple of months, but I've also seen a huge increase in the number of views. So for the last 12 to 18 months, I've been ticking along at somewhere between 350 to 450,000 views a month. It kind of goes in peaks and troughs depending if you do a video that does really well or if you have a little bit of a patch where you're not getting a video that does well. Suddenly in the last month, my video views per month have gone up to about 1 million views a month, so pretty much double. So clearly my revenue I'm generating from that has gone up. So my revenue has increased. The amount of money I get paid from YouTube has gone up. Unfortunately, you might think, well, this is great, right? We're all on lockdown, so everyone's at home watching videos and you're getting loads of views. Well, yes, that's good. But the flip side of that is the brands that pay for the videos or the adverts in the videos, the first thing that gets cut in times of economic uncertainty is your marketing spend. So you're finding that the ad revenue is actually coming down quite significantly. So you're not going to get the same amount of money today as you might have done with the same performance, I don't know, 6 months ago. So video views is the number one metric. It's really, really important. And that's how I get my check each month from Google. Now, there is a brilliant way. I'll point you to a website at the end of this video where you can go and type in anybody's YouTube channel and see how many subscribers they've got, how many views they get, and how much money they earn a month. It's not a secret. Okay, although you do have to be a bit careful with the information, but we'll talk about that very shortly. The other way I can monetize myself is by doing deals with brands. Now, for me, there are two ways that I can do that. The first way, and this is probably the way I do the most, is I work with brands, and let's say it's something to do with the car. I might get given something for the car, and I put that on the car, or work with a brand to do some work on the car, and I don't actually pay for the thing that I get given to be put on the car, but the brand doesn't pay me to do that either. But in return for being given something, I create a video, the video goes online, I generate content for you, which is good for me. I generate views, which is good for me, but also I create exposure for whatever the brand or the item is, and that might drive traffic to their website or help you decide on maybe you'll buy that particular thing. And that's what press teams do fundamentally with cars. They give cars for me to review, and I've had plenty of examples, even something as expensive as a car, where someone's watched one of my videos and that has helped in their decision-making process to go and buy that car. So that's the first thing. So, we don't get paid to have press cars. We don't get paid to work with brands, but it's a kind of almost, you give me something, I'll create a content in return for that thing. So that's the first way. And then the second way is that I physically get paid to do something with a brand. So I might put an advert at the beginning of one of my videos. I did some work with Hankook tires last year. I did a whole video on this actually, where I got paid to make content for Hankook social media channels and also for my own, and I got some tires at the same time. And when that happens, that's when you see paid promotion at the beginning of someone's video. What that means is the brand that's being exposed in that video has paid that content creator to make that video. So that's another way of monetizing yourselves, and that's part of the rules. You'll see it's the same thing on things like Instagram and so on. You'd see it hashtag ad. That typically means that influencer, I hate the word influencer, but you know what I mean, has been paid to do that. So they're the ways that we can leverage our channels to make money. And the challenge with that is, for me anyway, is I get approached now, especially the bigger I get, the more approaches I get, probably 3 or 4 times a week by a whole bunch of random brands, some of which I think would resonate with you and some really wouldn't, saying, can you do a review of our product on your channel, or can you, and my simple answer is either I just ignore the email, or sometimes I'll go back and say, thanks, but no thanks. Because I'll only work with brands for things that actually mean something to you. It might be, I've got a big mini audience, so all the stuff I'm doing with the Clubman at the moment, that resonates with you, and I think you appreciate that. But if I suddenly arrive with, I don't know, reviewing a hand food blender, you'd be like, what on earth are you doing, Ped? Well, I'm not going to do that, so don't worry. So that's another way of kind of monetizing myself. And then the final way is, I guess, through things like merch. So, the t-shirts, the mugs, the hoodies, they're all brilliant. I hope you've kind of checked out controlandshift.com, links in the description below. But that's another way of leveraging that brand, and not only are you able to kind of put cool stickers on your car, or really, we create nice t-shirts, but clearly that is a revenue stream. But that one for me is, again, you have to manage that really, really carefully, because I want to make sure that I'm not taking the Mickey. You know, we kind of create good quality products, but at a price that's affordable, but there still needs to be enough margin in there to generate some profit at the end of the day. I'm sure you appreciate that. So they're the fundamental ways of kind of how YouTube creates enough income. But the big challenge I have is I have a job. I've been doing training in telecoms for 20 years, and I don't want to sound big-headed, but that's a job that's very difficult to do, and I'm very good at it. So that the benefit to that is I'm very well paid in that job, and the challenge is if YouTube were to replace that job, YouTube has to earn me significant money to make sure I'm not worse off. So some content creators, and I'm going to be very generalist here, but the younger content creators, that they might live at home, they might not have the kind of living expenses. I've got a very beautiful house, and I know I'm very lucky to have it, but what comes with the beautiful house here and our house in Cornwall is a big mortgage that needs to be paid. You know, we've got cars that need to be paid. I'm a real person. I don't have a you know, inheritance or money from someone else. All the money that I have to earn myself. So YouTube needs to be able to step up to do that, and maybe one day it will be, but at the moment it doesn't. So I've got these 3 streams of income. YouTube interestingly led to my TV work, because I was seen on YouTube, and that's how I got involved in the TV project and other presenting projects that I do, and also my training job. I'll put a link to my company. Actually, I've got a company called Igniting the Sparks, and that's, you'll be able to see all the different things that I do as my job, if you like. So they're the money-making bits. I'm being really honest and open here. I hope you appreciate that, by the way. It sits quite uncomfortably with me, but I want you, you know, we're all on this journey together. I'm not sat here with 60,000 subscribers if I didn't have you lot behind me. So anyway, so the next thing I want to talk about is, as an influencer, how then does 60,000 subscribers help me? Because it really does. I mean, it doesn't earn me any money. We've talked about where the money comes from, but what it earns you is a kudos, or an easy metric to describe how big you are. And if you go to a brand and say, I've got 60,000 YouTube subscribers, that's instantly they're able to scale you. If I went and said I've got 1,000 YouTube subscribers, they're just not going to talk to me. I know some car brands that literally wouldn't talk to me until I hit 25,000 subscribers, and they pretty much said that. Said, you're just not big enough. But that's not the whole story. It's part of it. But I know channels that have 700,000 subscribers in the car space, but do less views a month than me. So I actually probably generate more money from my channel than they do. So if you're just looking at subscribers, that's not a good enough metric. The number of views is the next important thing, but even that's not enough, because the mega important thing for me anyway is how engaged those views are. You click on a video on YouTube, I think it's for more than 3 seconds. The second, you know, once 3 seconds has gone by, you are classified as a view. So, but I want people to be watching my stuff for minutes, not seconds. So if I look in my analytics, I can see what my average watch time is. Now, most of my videos I always try and make my videos less than 20 minutes if possible. So the average, if you get an average view time on YouTube of more than 3 minutes, that's really good. My channel average is about 7.5 minutes, and I've got videos on my channel that have an average watch time. I've got one video in particular, it's done 100,000 views, and the average watch time is over 10 minutes. And when you talk to a brand and say, my average watch time is 7.5 minutes, and I can quite happily get 10 minutes, they kind of like, what? You're kidding, right? I mean, that's hugely powerful, because it means you're actually watching stuff. And what that then does is it feeds into your ad revenue, because Google see that, and Google are more inclined to put higher paid for ads in your content, so you get better ad revenue. The next thing you want to look at is who's watching. So they're watching for a long time, but who are they? Are they male or female? Where do they live? How old are they? So you can have a whole bunch of stuff about your demographics. And again, that's really important for brands. I'm an older YouTuber. I'm 47 years old. There's only Harry Metcalf older than me. But what that means is I tend to have a slightly older following. But what comes with that is many of you guys have the financial ability to buy the cars that I am reviewing or do the modifications that I'm talking about. So I can translate views into actual purchases. I've got plenty of examples where people have watched a video and gone and bought a car. That's very interesting to brands. So engagement is maybe the most important metric, but the most difficult to easily describe. It's far easier to say, I've got 60,000 subscribers. And then the final thing is I am predominantly a YouTuber, although I have a presence on other social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Follow me on those, by the way, because my following on those is nowhere near that. If you have a bigger following on those platforms, and a really good example is my good mates Joe, Achilles and Steph. They've got massive Instagram following, so they can use that and leverage that with brands and say, look at this is my reach on Instagram as well, and the reach I'm getting. And the challenge we have in that space is it's far easier on those platforms, Twitter and Instagram in particular, to buy followers. So you can, on the face of it, look like, hey, look at me, I've got 100,000 Instagram followers, but they're not real, genuine people. You don't get that engagement. So you have to be really careful. And brands, when I'm pitching to brands, I try and explain not just I've got 60,000 subscribers, but they're super engaged. And that's why when we're doing these CarVid19 daily vlogs, I think it's really important for a couple of reasons. One, you're watching them and hopefully I'm giving you a bit of entertainment, but you're commenting on them and engaging with people because many of you are sat at home and not seeing people. So I'm making a double effort to comment on every comment. I've always tried to do that, but as my comments and my view numbers grow, that becomes really difficult. But to give you an idea, at the moment, I'm spending maybe the first 2 to 2.5 hours a day responding to everybody's comments, because I want that, I want to be providing that level of human interaction and engagement, especially right now. I know long term I won't be able to do that, but for me right now, if you guys are needing that, but that helps with my engagement levels too, but it takes a lot of time. So all of that, hopefully you're finding interesting. I know it's very complicated. The last thing I want to leave you with is, if you want to know about any of your favorite channels, and feel free to look at mine, is if you go to Social Blade, just Google Social Blade, I think it's socialblade.com, you can put into there any YouTube channel and have a look at what their numbers are. So if you were to look at a really big guy like, I don't know, PewDiePie, who is huge, I mean, I look at his numbers and it's like his daily views, just unbelievable. His number of subscribers he gets a day, unbelievable. But you can have a look, and you have to be a bit careful with those. So when you look at the revenue, I'd always maybe look at that number, the number it gives you a revenue per day and a revenue per month. I'd look at maybe 70% of that as a more accurate, that's more than likely what they're going to be actually getting, but it gives you an idea anyway. It's not a secret. That doesn't though describe other revenue sources. That's pure ad revenue from Google. That doesn't describe brand deals and sponsorship deals and merchandising deals. None of that is part of Social Blade. It's pure ad revenue. It's quite interesting though. Anyway, I'm waffling on. It's been a long one this, but I thought you might be interested, especially with a big milestone like 60,000 subscribers ticking over. By the way, before anybody comments, all the Jilly Cooper books down there, they belong to Mrs. Petrol. Mine are all of these ones up here, and you can't see the top shelf, but these are all my, in fact, hold on a minute. My top shelf, look, there we go. What I've got lots and lots of motor racing books. I've got some horse riding ones, lots of rugby books. I am obsessed. I love my autobiographies, sports autobiographies. And there's some really good books in there actually. And then obviously Mrs. Petrol is the Jilly Cooper stuff down there, but we won't go there, sure, because it's just like, Jilly Cooper. Really. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. If you have done so, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next CarVid19 daily vlog, which is tomorrow. And I might be doing a little bit of modification work to my car. Some more. Anyway, I'll see you on that one, guys. You take care. Stay safe.